Greetings, everyone. It is Friday, the 7th of March. It is Bandcamp Friday. I'll get to that, but let's start off for the first time in a long time. Cheers. And it just tastes okay. I don't think I'll be drinking so much coffee. Or I may actually try a different blend. I've got some other blends, but my usual cinnamon nut swirl is not. It ain't hitting like it did before I was sick. I opened a new bag because I always keep a backup, and indeed, it's like maybe the that run wasn't so good, but. So when I made the video yesterday, I had not seen the news yet. And the sad fact of the matter is that every day we're going to lose somebody. Every day we're going to lose somebody. And yesterday we lost a great beloved musician, Roy Ayers. And yes, I love Roy Ayers. This is two of his old albums, Daddy Bug and Virgo Vibes. The Virgo Vibes title track is again one of those it's one of those tracks for me that it's like, oh, this just takes me back to a better time. Like it was made in like 67 or 68. Yeah, 1967 it was released. And it's just lovely. Charles Tolliver, Reggie Workman, Joe Henderson. Good heavens, you know what I'm saying? Bruno Carr on drums. He was a beloved musician and member of the black community. I did used to have a whole bunch of Roy Ayers, and I can't regret not having them anymore because there's many artists like that where it's just like I am out of room and I have to sell some stuff to accommodate my what I would call special interests as related to what I like to collect. And I used to have Everybody Loves the Sunshine. It's one of those records where his sound was like it just warms up the room. And I've watched him, I've never seen him in concert, but I've watched him online and I've listened to him talk many times. And he was just such a wonderful man, just a really solid human being, seemed like a real loving man. I know this about him, that when he was a boy, he saw Lionel Hampton in concert, and Lionel Hampton gifted him some mallets after the show, and that's what got him going. I love that. My dad played in Lionel Hampton's band for a short time in the early days. I love having that connection. I believe it was Alessandro up from Canada. I love you Canadians. Stay strong, people. I'm not going to not say how I feel about things as it comes up about this world. So when he first sent this Jazz is Dead to me, I was kind of cool to it, but I'm so glad that you sent this to me. Listened to this all the way through yesterday. And it's like, yeah, Roy Ayers, one of the absolute greats. He was 10 years, I think, 10, 15 years older than me. And the grace of his, it comes through on this. It did. It's like I just sat with this last night and it was like, okay, this music is love. And a big part of what he's doing on this, the Jazz is Dead series, is what I was scratching my head about when I started to see it. And someone sent me a couple of different releases on it. And I was thinking, what is this about? probably supposed to be ironic, but it was like, it wasn't hitting me right at first. The idea of jazz is dead, it wasn't hitting me right at first, but that don't matter. So, rest in peace, Roy Ayers. And if you don't know, find out, okay? Just a little bit more headroom here, don't I? It's from my working on movies days, where the director of photography, the guys, Sean Kirby is, if you've ever heard of him as a cinematographer or whatever you call it, the camera guy. Learned a lot watching him and actually bugging him and asking him questions and being able to hang out in that headroom. It's like, you want optimum amount, not too much, not too little. Sadly, as well, though, I will get to Bandcamp Friday because I want to talk. I've already gotten some sales. Thank you, people. Thank you so much. We need to. I would appreciate if you could please continue to buy today. But anyway, the other person that we lost was Brian James, 70 years old, the original guitarist of The Damned. Now, when I heard the Sex Pistols, I didn't think they were shit, okay? And I eventually bought the album and eventually sold it. Still don't, I understand the social importance of that album, but to me that was musically wasn't shit, okay? Except for Steve Cook's guitar tone. However, when I heard The Damned, it's like, okay, it's on. This is what that shit's about, okay? Neat, New Rose, Stab Yo Back, shit. This is the motherfucking punk rock from England from the 70s. So messed up. Fuck yes. Stab Yo Back. This is my shit. Now, I'm also happy to say this is an early run on Stiff Records. It's not a recent reissue. This is an old. I don't know if it's first run, but it's probably close. Love this album. This was the real start, and I think in some ways historically regarding the 70s punk rock explosion, this was the first UK single, beat the Sex Pistols to the market, something like that. Love this album. I've seen The Damned, but not when Brian James was in the band. Captain Sensible was on guitar when I saw them. However, I did see Lords of the New Church. I knew who I was seeing, and I stood right in front. Brought the memories back, because I talked about Stiv Bators, and when he crowd surfed, I got to hold him up for a while and squeezed his shoulder and patted him and said, yes, we love you, Stiv. But I stood right in front of Brian James, and that was the shit. Really enjoyed watching him play, as well as the drummer, forget the drummer's name, who had this really cool bounce. But Brian James would rake that guitar, had a badass tone, had a badass approach to it. So yes, music for pleasure, okay? I haven't listened, this is a reissue. It's like, it's been so long since I've listened to this. The first album, it hasn't been that long isn't that a great cover? Hasn't been that long. Here's Brian James. That I listened to the first Damned album because it's a favorite. It's a favorite. I'll just put this over here. I just want to mention this one. Brian James was out of the band by this time. Yep. But this is a good one. Machine Gun Etiquette. Okay. What a band. And no doubt before, well, I don't like saying it that way, but it's probably true. Probably before the day is done, we will lose more greats whose music has touched and shaped our lives. Rest in peace, Roy Ayers and Brian James. Okay, Okay, we're okay. So, folks, it is Bandcamp Friday. I'd like to encourage you to not just show me support, but get out there and buy some stuff by people. But I want to tell you about what I have. I went ahead and I would love to make a dent in one of these boxes. I went ahead and released at 6 o'clock last night. I released Dereck Higgins Experience, and it has started to sell already. But besides this, I have plenty of music that you can buy, and I sure wish you would. I've still got the Muse. I just heard from Blake for the second time. His wonderful, loving words. I appreciate him so much, and he loves me very much. And it's about the music. It's very much about a brotherly love. But the Muse, there I am with Cubby and Blake on the back. My dudes. You need this music, people. This is wonderful shit. And I like to use the word shit, and I like to cuss, okay? For emphasis. Stop. Shit. I've still got aspects of the imagined. Isn't it strange? I don't know why that's doing that. It's like, are you going to... I've still got aspects of the imagined. None of these are repeats where it's like, oh, I've heard him this before. No, this is unique shit. Here, I have here. Got plenty of these to sell to you because this is a recent. I'm so proud of this music. And then just before DHX, the most recent new 2025 release of mine is From the Archives. And people should hopefully in the next day or two start receiving their copies in the mail from that batch that I finally got to mail out. Grab yourself this music. In the long run, history after I'm gone, history will show that I was one. Okay? And what I've also still got interlude. I should have grabbed a copy. Dang it. I've got a bunch of interludes still on physical copies to sell. This one, if you buy it, I'll forward it to Randy's Alternative Music in Pittsburgh. Let me put this in perspective. This is The World is Burning. This is some of Randy's favorites of my stuff from the 90s. And the way to put this into perspective is there's a lot of material in here that could have become digital sex material, okay? So if you need that perspective, not that if you need it, but let me just share that with you. This was me after the band broke up finally, and I'm just making music and just trying to just be me. And this is some good shit. Randy did me such an honor the way that he put this together. He says maybe 50 copies of it left out of 500. So I'm proud of that. It's almost gone. He's the one who did this, the Digital Sex Essence and Rarities CD, where he had our album Essence remastered that had originally come out in 85. Very proud of this music. We, along with Four Against and other bands, kicked Nebraska into the consciousness of the world when independent rock, indie, alternative, all that shit was exploding in the 80s. We were the first in Nebraska to show folks that you can take Nebraska seriously. We got something for your ass. I've got these for sale. As I've explained, because of bullshit, I can't post it on Bandcamp. But if you email me, and my email is easily found, I don't have the graphics thing on here. I don't feel like editing this because that is even more wait time. DereckVaughn@gmail.com. It's my first and middle name in lowercase. Dereck, Dereck, Vaughn, V as in Victor, VON, DereckVaughn@gmail.com. Let me know. $10. I only still sell these for $10, okay? I also want to let you know my album Future Still is still available from the record label, which is on my Bandcamp site. And someone recently let me know they found a copy used and they love it. But RAF, No Salvation. This is some of the best hard driving, you can call it punk or just hard rock music that you are going to hear. And because of the tragedy of the band losing our singer, who is responsible for these graphics, it's just sitting in my kitchen in boxes. You ought to have this album, and I've got plenty of vinyl, but I also have a few CDs, and the CDs are gold because Kelly, who committed suicide, was the one who had them manufactured. So I don't know what happened to the rest, but I just have a few that I told them I needed some, to sell. There are a lot. Who knows? Okay, that's a thorn in my side. That whole part of my life. Dan, if you see this, brother, wow, love my REF band, people, our legacy, our people, our fans. I don't even want to call them fans. But I got this, and you ought to get this for fuck's sake, all right? So yeah, make it a good Bandcamp for me. Friday, please. Yeah. I ain't begging, I'm saying this music is worth it. Get it in your soul. Okay. So it's like it's mellowing out. I can see now that for the most part I've turned a corner, and I'm not going to be sipping coffee all day. I'm about to go get my water. I've always liked water, but it's like it's just really been a lifesaver. So to continue with sharing music, the best on vinyl, some more fantastic, what you call, I just want to call it music for life, okay? And beauty, yearning and harmony, Tree Atma with Klaus Netzli. This is the US version of this album that I originally got, this one. And notice the difference. It's Tree Atma and Gyan Shabda featured on this one. Sensukti Einklang. Is that what that means? Yearning and harmony? Apparently so. This is so beautiful, warm, and inviting, and wholesome, but not in a treacly bullshit way, in a very alive, like with golden rays of sunshine sort of energy and sound. This is beautiful. And this is the superior pressing, direct metal mastering. When I obviously not, I had this one first, and then I found this used and couldn't tell. And then sure enough, it's the same album, but I'm keeping them both. Love this album. This was sent to me by Vince G, who might be watching, because when I posted it online, he was ecstatic that I was playing it finally. People send me music, and music, you don't always get to show people that you appreciate what they send you. But French band, Triangle, Viens avec nous, Prague, with pop. That's the other thing about Prague. There's a lot of Prague music that has the pop music element right there in it as well. This is good. And I actually like the vocals. But there's a lot of instrumentals on here as well. Triangle, Viens avec nous. If you don't know this, find out. It's good. I really enjoyed it. And then a random poll, and it was like, oh, this just brought back, because it's a classic single. When Joy Division lost Ian Curtis and kept moving, Ceremony and In a Lonely Place. This is my original 1981 pressing. Bought this immediately. And this is classic if you don't know these songs. In a Lonely Place was just transcendent yesterday. Now, I must say, if you see this person, someone asked me if I've heard a certain thing that is supposedly very emotional. See, that don't mean nothing. You have to understand that actually a lot of things that are very emotional, and you see people crying and stuff, it's like, I'm missing that boat. It's not because it is what it is because of what the music does to me, okay? So don't assume. I just really got to put this out there because it's something that I don't think people understand. Do not assume that because you feel it, that anyone else will feel it. That's what we're trying to do as artists, is do that. But there's some stuff where it's like it's real emotional, and it's like, well, I'm just not there today. So just letting you know, okay? Here's one where I put it on. It was like, oh, this was just kind of enjoyable, but it's like, this has no gems on it. It's a Creation Rockers compilation, Volume 2 from Trojan, one of the premier reggae labels from Jamaica. And I listened to most of it, but it's like mostly not all that. I love all these people, but mostly the choice of cuts on here is like, they're all right. But everyone from the Wailers to John Holt to Tommy Cook and Peter Tosh, Delroy Wilson, Mikey Dread. I love reggae music, though, and the people. Love it, okay? I'll finish up with this stack of CDs. Loquat. This goes back to MySpace. MySpace is almost like arcane, ancient times, isn't it? It's like a graveyard. It's like a digital graveyard. But I discovered this band back when I was on MySpace. Loquat. Loquat is how you say it. I think they're a San Francisco band. And I was just really touched by the simple goodness of and originality of the band's writing, the woman's voice. And so I put this on last night, and sure enough, it starts off, and every song is just better and better and better. Take It Back, Rocks, Slow, Fast, Wait and See. This is very good. It's Yours to Keep, Loquat. And then I have a couple things from night listening is what I'll call it. And then I also lay down for a while yesterday for a nap. Not because I wasn't feeling good, but just like I've just rediscovered how wonderful it is to just lay down in the bed and listen to music. And so nap time yesterday consisted of listening to this, Joyride. music from the motion picture Joyride, which I've never seen, but this is all 4AD artists. And in that sense, it's a great listen, because it goes from His Name Is Alive is on here, Lush, Spiria X, Tarnation, Swallow, This Mortal Coil. Those are the standouts on here. Okay, Colorbox, Michael Brook, Pale Saints, Diff Juz. Love all those bands, and this is a very enjoyable listen. So much so that I basically stayed awake during my so-called nap listening to it. The other one from that nap time was this. I showed this before, and I think I got a message where people said that they know these people. Kiln. And this is interesting because it's partly ambient, and then it's just straight music, strumming and humming and stuff. Don't know anything about it, but it was a good. It's got that flow. Kiln. Nice graphics on it. This one, David Michael Matuk, Masquerade. Now this, to me, looks like it's a private pressing. Probably the guy got it done himself. 1995. This is ambient. And it's 80% excellent. And there are some parts on here where it's like, oh, you probably should have left that part off. That's just me speaking. But for folks who like that flowing ambient, heavenly sort of sound where you've got the keyboards that are creating these big washes of beauty that go on for a while, and then it gets into some kind of rhythm or other thing. This is very good, and I can recommend it. And I really enjoyed it. David Michael Matuk, Masquerade. This was heavy listening. I was over looking in my CDs in this room, which is J through the beginning of S. Everything is alphabetized in the house. Maurice Ohana, Le Clavetine. He is apparently best known for his works for harpsichord. And I noticed that I had two different titles of Ohana. And so I was like, I don't remember this. Well, this is dope shit. And Elizabeth Koznaka is the harpsichordist. And apparently she has a claim, and for good reason. This is really good. Really good. I might endeavor to play a little bit of this, because this is an example to me of where, in a very real sense, this is modern, this is classical music, but this is prog. This is what some prog music endeavors to do. Wonderful. I read, again, I had to read the notes to really illuminate my experience. This is wonderful. And okay, is it going to let me play something for you? And hopefully I won't get it. I'll just play just a little bit, but number 5 here. Hear what I'm talking about? Yeah. Fuck yes. I hope that wasn't too much. I hope I don't get a copyright strike. It needed to I needed you to hear how it was developed. Badass. Fucking badass. Maurice Ohana, Le Clavecin. That's some good shit. God, music is the best. And then here, last night, I pulled 3 things and listened to them all. And the way that it worked was that when I'd have to get up to go to the bathroom, I'd put on another CD and listen. This one was, I had to take it off because it's beautiful, but it's dark, okay? And when I'm trying to sleep, I want something that is restful and beautiful at the very least, or just something that just is comforting. This is really good, and it involves people that I am also on works with Dave Newhouse, Rich O'Meara, marimba, but this is Silent Orchestra. It's called Poe, A Dream Within a Dream. And it is very dreamy. And I'm trying to see, Dave's not on here. But I know that Rich O'Meara is on some of the Dave Newhouse records that I'm on. This is beautiful, dark, and very dreamlike. Not eerie, but dreamlike and ethereal. And there's like a sense of uncertainty and the beauty. Some of it is very beautiful, but it's like it's not nightmarish. It's obvious if you wanted to make people have nightmares, but this is more like dream world. It's really, really good. Silent Orchestra. Isn't that a nice cover too? This recommended it. Everything I'm showing that I'm listening to, I recommend, absolutely. 2 more. Fred Simon, keyboardist, composer who I like. We're friends on Facebook. Usually, always. This is an example where Wyndham Hill was getting it right for my taste. I've said it before that some of that William Ackerman stuff is just totally forgettable. It's good, but it's like it plays and then it's like, did somebody play some music when it's over? That's always been my impression of his music. Totally forgettable, although beautiful in its own way. But this is really enjoyable. Love this all the way through. It's that sort of uplift music of, you can even use the word music that inspires hope or feelings of we're trying to do something good here, not bad. And this is just good. Time in the River. I have that album also by him, but he does a version of it on this. Fred Simon, highly recommend this for those who are listening, wanting music that just makes the room get brighter. Here's one from the 90s, 1993. I acquired this as a promo, and it was like a discovery. Guitarist Preston Reed, Border Town. I love this album. And it's like I had, out of sight, out of mind. And so I was looking over there and every track on here. Now, I'll just play the beginning of one track on here because this will get a copyright strike for sure. But acoustic guitarist, he's got technique. Reminds me not of, but it's like it calls to mind the kind of playing that you hear by people like Leo Kottke, okay? He's that good. But there's also a bit of the Pat Metheny sort of thing. Listen to how this starts. I have to stop before 30 seconds. Whew, I love that so much. Play on, brother. Play on is how I be feeling. And then it's like it's got jazzy arrangements as well as picking. He's got a couple one where it's like you can just see him on the front porch picking and tapping his foot along with it. Brilliant playing. I have another album of his on vinyl. Preston Reed, Border Town. If you've never heard this is a favorite. Again, there I get worked up because this shit is good. Oh, Lord, I like this album so much. So very much so. Let me get my ass off here. You know, it's been real easy to spend more than 10, 15 minutes with this, these last few videos. And don't miss out on my music, okay? You can listen to it. I could play some now, you know. Okay, so for example, my new one, DHX, How Does It Start? How does it start? I'll even just play it from online off of my Bandcamp. How does it start? That's Chemtrails, baby. Now that's how the album starts, okay? It's called Chemtrails because that was a piece that I put together for the band Chemicals that I could never get them to play it right, okay? Even though it's got that obvious sample that I'm using to get the ting-ling-ling, but the groove thing, it's like we never got it together. That's the only thing that sounds like that on the album. But pick up this stuff, people, okay? Let me be quiet. Family, you know I love you so very, very much. Nothing but love. Okay, take care.